Cleveland, Ohio, RuEl Sailor, nearly a month removed from serving 15 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit, pointed to the map behind him. It's what Cleveland Chief of Police Calvin Williams termed a hotspot map, showing the volume of violent crimes in his city from green to yellow to red. "I'm from right here, this big, red dot right here, that red zone," Sailor said, pointing to the Collinwood neighborhood. "That's where I grew up at. I'm trying to go back there and make a difference." Sailor being able to deliver this message, considering where he had been not so long ago, is surprising in its own right. That he was doing it in front of city and state leaders is significant. Even more significant is that he was delivering his message in a meeting room at the Cleveland Browns training facility in front of a group that include Browns players and team owner Jimmy Haslam. "To have all these people in one room means so much," Sailor said. Sailor was there as part of Impacting the Land, a social justice summit aimed at educating new and returning players on the opportunities to create positive social change in Cleveland and its surrounding areas, and the organization's commitment to support the players in these efforts. The summit, held last Wednesday afternoon, include brief presentations from Sailor, Chief Williams, Haslam, Ohio State Senator John Eklund, Cuyahoga County Executive Armand Budish, Director of the Ohio Department of Rehab and Corrections Gary Moore, and Hall of Fame running back Jim Brown. Topics ranged from education to criminal justice reform, 2 points of emphasis from Haslam when he opened the summit. More than a dozen players attended, including Christian Kirksey, Jamie Collins, Seth Duvall, Brian Body Calhoun, Larry Ogunjobi and Kevin Zeidler. Also in attendance were other non-profit leaders who didn't present but did offer up some of their needs moving forward. "There's always been a small group of concerned individuals that have reached out into these communities over the years," Brown said, "and struggled to get funds and made change without a lot of support. Much of this stems from the Browns joining in league-wide protests which took place during the national anthem." The protest originated in 2016 when former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick began kneeling to protest police brutality in response to shootings of unarmed African American men, and it has since spread. The Browns, specifically, joined prior to a Monday night preseason game against the Giants last August. Since that night, a core group of players that included Kirksey, tight end Randall Telfer and former Browns cornerback Jason McCourty took the lead in meeting with Haslam and city leaders, including Chief Williams, to consider steps forward beyond the protest. Kirksey considered the summit the next step in where they hope to go next and being looked at as more than just football players. "Now you've got to be a human being," he said. "Now you've got to serve a purpose in the community, and that's something that this event definitely was helpful for us to see and definitely getting the ball rolling." The presentations cast a wide net, from Sailor's message to simply connect with young kids in troubled neighborhoods, go to schools, go to neighborhoods, interact with them one-on-one, just chill with them, just talk to them personally, let them know they can be better, to Senator Eklund, a Republican, talking about Senate Bill 66, a bipartisan piece of legislation he helped introduce that, according to a story on Cleveland.com from 2017, is intended to reduce the state's high prison population and focus more on rehabilitation for nonviolent offenders, many who are charged with drug possession. The bill has passed out of the Senate and is currently in the House. "We don't need or want your financial resources for this," Eklund said. "Your advocacy is what we want." Both he and Jimmy Haslam submitted written testimony in support of the bill. "A protest calls attention to a matter," Haslam said in ending the summit. "But once you call attention to it, then what has to happen? We have to figure out how we solve it." Haslam then called on the players, led by Kirksey, to choose one issue they want to rally around before they leave at the conclusion of the team's off-season program that the organization would support. "This is the right track," Brown told the attendees of the summit. "You all bring something to the table. Cleveland Browns takes on a different meaning to me this